Good evening, everybody. Um, the reason I'm making this video tonight, I wanted to just basically put an end to all the mistruths and the, the disinformation of this whole flat Earth theory. I see it gaining a lot of momentum, and there are people that swear by it, and it severely is clouding your judgment to have a belief that isn't fundamentally true. Here's why. each each planet is hollow. Each planet, and the reason they're hollow, and the way we can prove that they're hollow, is by looking at an atom. Everything in this reality is a fractal of itself, which is an infinity pattern of smaller to bigger of the same. It is like a hologram. A hologram is made of smaller pieces of the whole, complete smaller pieces of the whole. So if you have an image of, they had a very famous holographic show of Tupac, who has been dead a few years back, and that what you've seen of his body, the entire image was made up of smaller images of the whole, and that is similar to the nature of our reality. And if you look within an atom, it is more or less filled with empty space. There is a vortex that connects us or interfaces to basically energy, or the other dimension, so to say, and it's similar to a positive and a negative picture, where we are in the negative, that exists in the positive, and that's the same truth for black holes and for galaxies revolving around supermassive black holes and all these things. A sun is essentially the other side of a black hole from the opposite end of the spectrum. And a sun is a concentration of light and energy that we see in this reality as what it is, but it's coming through from another reality. So they're essentially like hubs of energy that connect all around space, and it is through them that we come. That's the essence of our being. That's our true. At the center of your heart exists a star, and with this flat Earth, a lot of the flat earthers use this 1,000-year-old map as their proof in the Earth is flat. But what isn't understood is that these people that created this map had no perception of the torus, or the nature of each planet, and the relationship of our perception and the influx of energy and the distortion that it creates, that basically if you were entering, it would appear as if you were going on a straight path, versus going down into a hole and merging out onto the ceiling of the inside of the earth. So, I mean, essentially, the earth is flat, but not literally. It is flat to our perception. And a lot of these UFOs are indeed inner earth inhabitants and not extraterrestrials. Although there are extraterrestrials, the majority of the craft and ships we see, especially the cigar-shaped craft, come from the inner earth. And they've been here a lot longer than we have. It's almost, impossible to conceive a race existing on the outside of a planet for millions of years, because planets are, the surface, the outside, are very volatile and subject to mass extinction level events such as the dinosaurs. It's not a controlled environment like the interior. And there is also a different energy that exists in the interior, a different vibration, a different frequency. So it is more likened to fourth or fifth dimensional existence. We are just now starting to see some of these things with our most cutting edge science that we have, and this will be solidified as fact. I'm sure, soon. But regardless, above that, there are things that need to be addressed that are of immediate importance, such as the pole shift, which is approaching very fast now. And what people need to realize about this pole shift is that not only do the poles flip-flop, but the rotation reverses as well. And during that rotation reversal, we hit a point of 0-point gravity, so to say, which essentially puts us in a null zone. When this takes place, we are transitioning from the energy of this reality to the energy of the spiritual. And the sun is our connection, our immediate connection to this other dimension. And our planet is connected to this other dimension as well. We are the physical manifestation of the other side. And when the pole shift takes place, there are vortexes that spin from the sun to the earth and every other planet. It's similar to if you place your hand on one of those globes, those balls in the mall. They have at Spencer's and places like that, the novelty shops, where you put your hand on it and the electric bolts shoot to your fingertips. It is a lot similar to that, with in regards to the connection that we have to our sun and every other planet has to our sun. All the planets in this galaxy are inhabited in the interior, and there are many civilizations around us and that exist with us. But when this exchange takes place, with the 0-point gravity, when we hit that 0 point, that means we're no longer going to have a magnetic field around us protecting us. And the sun will then basically ground out to the earth, and if we're the only ones experiencing this pole shift, then that's irrelevant. But when each planet aligns, it creates a circuit, and the energy transfers from the sun to Mercury to Venus to the Earth, and so on, and creates what is known as basically the Rainbow Bridge, or it is a high energy shock or frequency that basically traps us in its current, not our physical selves, but our spiritual soul energy selves, and absorbs. So this ascension that is to take place is essentially us returning to the sun, okay? And when the pole shift happens, we will return to the nature that we exist out of, which is the positive, which is the spiritual aspect of us, and there will be physicality left, but the physicality left will exist for those beings that are not capable of interfacing these higher energies. And there's going to be a complete shift in consciousness, all about immediately when we hit this 0 point, moving into the positive end of it, because we are reversing as a whole, which means negative to positive. So when we get into the positive aspect of this, those that do not ascend into the sun, whether you want to believe this or not, these are just facts, and I've seen these. Watch some of the previous videos I have, and they'll give a little bit of background. But when we transcend into this positive period, that is considered, the age of enlightenment and all these other things. That is because we are now living in, our essence is made of positive. Our conscious is our negative aspect, and our basic navigation system for this set of frequencies. When the negative field is reversed, essentially the negative aspect of us will as well, if you are capable, or if you hold these frequencies, because there are beings that don't. But those that do, we now move into basically a positive essence within a positive manifestation, will be creating thoughts instantaneously, and we will judge ourselves by our thoughts, because as we get closer to this 0 point field, the rate at which things manifest will increase, and they will increase to the point where if you are a person that thinks negatively, you will draw those negative things towards yourselves, because as of right now, when we think thoughts, they do not manifest, because we're trying to manifest from the negative, from something that doesn't exist. And as we move towards true existence, which is in the positive, then we move towards our power of creation being centered. And as we get closer to this, our vibration raises and the rate of our manifestation increases as well. So as I said, the people who think negatively, you'll be driving down the road, and the person that drives down the road thinking, oh my god, what if I swerve off the road, or what if, this car swerves, or what if this happens, what if that happens. The person that thinks like that will draw that towards them, effectively judging themselves and eliminating themselves. The person that holds love in their heart and has faith and doesn't spend their time living in the past or the future and projecting fake events, basically, because when we visualize things and possibilities, we are visualizing, if the possibilities you're visualizing are negative, or positive, you're just creating a chaos, you're influencing the desired effect to be one of a scattered nature of all these different variables that you introduce to the creation of it. So the people that hold love and that have a positive nature will be separated from those who hold fear and hate and doubt and all these things of a negative nature. It's the separation of the positive and the negative, the conscious and the subconscious, the spirit and the physical. And as we basically come to this point, to this moment, the earth itself will basically ascend with us, because the earth is a living being, and the earth has a spirit that we are a part of, and every animal and everything that is sentient, rocks are even a part of this, everything that is of the earth, everything that is naturally of the earth. And those that ascend with the earth will essentially be in, paradise, or whatever you want to consider it, if your vibration allows you to transition, then that is what will take place. There is the utmost importance of, while you are now here learning to stop using your conscious mind to make decisions and start using your spirit self, your sacred heart, or your subconscious, or your Christ consciousness, your higher consciousness, to connect and make decisions. And the way that is done is by not thinking, staying in the now moment, by creating a field of 0-point gravity within your being. You will essentially prepare for the 0-point gravity that will be within our world and within our universe. And the more that you become familiar with these energies and how they work, the easier your transition will be. And this is not for all people. Some people still have some lifetimes to go before they are ready to accept this, and before they are ready to utilize what's necessary to move forward. We are constantly moving forward. We also have this connected nature that lies beneath the surface of who we consciously are, and we exist as a being or an entity of one that is essentially that the hologram that I spoke of, because we are all smaller parts of the whole, but we are wholes ourselves. Within us exists the universe, the everything that you can perceive exists within us, not without. And those that continue to search outside of themselves for answers in books and in videos and wherever you get your information from, will continue to be misled and subject to variables of which you have no control. The only true way to get control is by giving away your self-will. And by giving away your self-will, you stop feeding into your conscious desires and judgments and aspects of negative which do not exist. So, as of right now, the reason it states in the Bible that, that the devil has control, for so many years, and, all these things about, he controls us, it's because we are in the negative right now. Since the last reversal, when we spun from a positive to a negative, that was the fall of consciousness, the fall of man. There's time periods that are in between these, and there are beings that live much longer than us that have, been called gods and all types of things, but have given us the information. And there is also a long lineage of people that are connected to the earth and to their ancestors and receive messages from their elders. I am one of those, and my spirit guides have given me clarity on these issues. I have watched countless videos of these people that promote this black hole sun theory, and going to the center earth and living in Agartha, and blood sacrifice, this blood over intent business that I see is absolutely ludicrous. And any one of you that fall into that trap, I will tell you right now, by taking your blood and spilling it on a piece of paper, writing, "I intend to bring heaven on earth," you are effectively binding your essence to this physical reality. In other words, that's part of the deception. You are more or less going to subject yourself to living in a fake construct, like let's say the internet is what is available. All these people, the transhumans and stuff, that want to upload their consciousness into the internet. It's essentially the same thing. You upload your conscious to the internet, you are now stuck in a virtual prison. God is infinite, it is everything, it is unimaginable, it never ends, and you have no concept of what it is, but it is there. And you basically are leaving your DNA, your blood contains every facet of who you are, who you've been in your past lives, and every bit of information back to creation, including future events. And by putting your intent on something like that and binding your spirit to it, you are cursing yourself. So I just want to get this information out there because I see so many being misled, and it ruins lives. People literally are lost and cannot find themselves because they're stuck in a maze of bullshit and disinformation that is people's conscious fantasies of these theories and these concepts that they make up with broken knowledge and broken bits of information to begin with, and they incorporate it all into this big stew of bullshit and post it on their channel trying to get views so they can make a couple tenths of a cent for every video commercial that gets watched. It's just it's sickening to somebody who is actually connected and understands the higher truth. So I just wanted to briefly get this out there. Like I said, there's many more things that go along with it. Feel free to leave comments, questions, talk your shit, do whatever you do. It's going to come to a point where people are going to realize the truth, and when critical mass is reached, which I was talking about how we're all connected, as we all start basically uploading these new energies and frequencies, the information will start transferring to other people through telepathy and things, the invisible connection. For example, the other day I sat next to a friend of mine, and as I sat next to him, I seen in my mind a glass pane, like a sheet of glass, and it was pointed corner down, and I visualized and got the impression that the corner was breaking off, and I then seen a crossbow pointed at a 90-degree angle, followed by a piece of glass that looked as if it had been blown with a circle in the middle. And I said to him, I just had this vision of, and I repeated it, and he cut me off and said, "That was me last night." And I said, "What do you mean?" Well, actually, I kept talking and finished my story because there was more. And then I was like, "What do you mean?" And he said, I was cleaning the refrigerator, and I took one of the glass shelves out, and I set the corner on a mug while I was cleaning it, and the mug chipped and broke, and I thought I broke the corner of the glass off. And I said, "Holy shit." So not only did I see the glass, but I seen the mug with the blown glass in the hole at the end, and I got the impression of a corner breaking, and that's exactly what happened. So what took place was a transfer of information between us, with absolutely nothing happening besides me getting close. And that's part of these new energies that are coming in. These things like this will start happening to more and more people, and people just don't understand what it is that and how to interpret it. So after a couple weeks of intense writing 24/7, I have completed my book, and my book is directly related to teaching people how to use this energy and how to tap into their consciousness, and how to, well, not their consciousness, but rather their subconscious, or their true essence, and how to not use your conscience, and what the true uses of your conscious mind are for, and basically how to navigate this software that we all have, that none of us seem to have been given the instruction manual or codes on. So I will be providing links to that book shortly. When I do, there will be a video posted. I don't typically say like my video and subscribe, but if you believe it is important to get this message out, then I encourage you to support it and do just those things. And I appreciate your time. I will be posting more videos of a lot more different things and clarifying a lot more different things. And I do not get my information from the same sources that most people do. So I can guarantee that the line of information you get from me is different than what you'll get from other folks, and I have no agenda other than truly being concerned that people are completely lost in caring enough to take the time out of my day to do this, laborious task of recording and editing and uploading for hours, and trying to manage things, and get a dialogue created with people, and a place to converse, and answering emails, and I make no money off of this whatsoever. And I figured, rather than give the information in bits and pieces, I would basically make this book to just be a guide, something that you can follow verbatim, and by the end of it, I can guarantee that your perception and reality is changed, and you now are what is considered to be psychic, which I do not like that term because it is associated with a stigma, but nevertheless, that's what people understand it as, so that's what I'll refer to it as. Etymology is another video I'll be putting up soon, because that plays a super important role as well. But until next time, stay vigilant, stay tuned.